Hey, welcome to this episode of Shift. Shift is simply something to help individuals find their true passion through our thoughts, through our talents, through our truth, through our stories, through our being together and just sharing who we are on a day by day. Today, I want to focus on small gestures, just the small things that can have a huge impact. I remember when I worked at my name is Palmonia Gordon. I have a background in corporate America, spent over 23 years at the post office, and I literally picked up my bag to go to work one day, and the thought of going postal made sense. Now, being a single mother with 5 kids and going postal, that was not a very good combination. So that forced me into what I call the shift. It forced me to a place where I had to stop and take a look at my life to see how was I going to go forward. And the concept of shift is to bear in mind a clock, and a clock that has the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand. The second hand does 60, my apologies, I'm not reducing time, does 60 small shifts, 1, 2, 3, all the way before the minute hand does 1 shift. And then the minute hand does 60 small shifts before the hour hand can do 1 shift. And so that's the concept behind shift. It's just for us to focus on the small things, the small truth, the small stories, the small examples, the small wins, and to take those and just keep shifting one more. Keep shifting one more. And if every day we can add a shift, we know we are getting better. We're changing, we're growing, we're becoming more. So today I want to talk about the power of a touch. We live in a society and a culture today that people don't want you to touch them, or there's so much phobia, germophobia, and all that kind of stuff. But there's the story of this gentleman who had major heart surgery, and as he came out, the nurse actually documented in his chart that, man, this patient is combative, he's fighting with me, only to later discover that he was having an allergic reaction. Whether it was to the medication, to the anesthesia, but something, it could have even been the stents that they placed in his heart, but he was reacting. So he was violently convulsing and just out of control, because when they actually go into heart surgery, when they come out, they usually strap them to the bed. They usually strap their arms and their legs to the bed so they literally can't move, because the instinct is when you wake up, you're going to sense that there's something foreign about your body, whether in your nose, and you're automatically going to go and rip it off, just as a baby would if you try to put anything on them. So they usually... So while he's going through this seizure, and there was an assistant nurse that was standing there, but she had experience. She had seen that happen to other people before, and she did something that blew everything. She reached over and she simply took his hand. And just that moment of contact, because now this is a person that's coming, I mean, you were as good as dead when you were laying on that table, and now you're coming back. And just that contact, and he calmed down, because then he realized there was someone there. There was human. And he started calming down, which stopped the convulsion and stopped everything that was happening to him. So in this episode, I want to focus on, do we need a touch? Do we need somebody to reach out where we are and say, hey, Palmonia, I've got you? Or do you feel somebody? Are you thinking about somebody? Do you have this person that comes to mind often? Are you able to reach out and touch that person? Sometimes it may be a phone call. In today's technology, it could be a text, it could be messenger. I have this young lady. I remember I was thinking about her and I'm like, man. And I picked up my phone and I sent her a message. And right away, almost instantly, she calls me back and she says, anybody who doesn't know you would think you're into something else. She said, I just walked in through my door and my thought was, man, my feet are so tired. I could use a pedicure. And she said, then her phone beeped. And when she looked at it, I sent her a message that says, man, I know you're out walking all day. If your feet hurt, when I see you in Louisville, because we were going to meet in Kentucky like in a couple of, I said, when I see you in Kentucky, I'll buy you a manicure. And she's like, no way. So I share this story with you for us to understand that when you connect with somebody, it's not always the physical touch only that works. Somebody may need you at that moment just to say, hey, are you okay? I was thinking about you. Just want to tell you I love you. I do that often, and sometimes, depending on who it is, I will actually apologize because somebody may be going through stuff and I don't know, but I am just now accepting a part of my gift in when something comes to me, just to be obedient and to act on it. So I'll apologize sometimes, says, no disrespect, but I'd rather you be upset that, hey, I'm giving you a word or, sending you a message that you don't feel appropriate, that it's for you. But it's better to be obedient because sometimes they don't know what's around the corner. And the thing you say or do to them that minute, that small gesture is what's gonna, oh my God, I needed that. I remember when I worked at the post office back in my early years, because I used to work night shift for the first few years. And there was this gentleman sitting across from me and something said to me, talk to him. And I go, oh, after break, because it was almost lunchtime. And it's like, after break. And something said, what happened if he dies before break? I was like, all right. I mean, okay, no need to get so intense. But I started chatting with him. Hey, turned out he used to go to church. Life had happened and he was no longer going to church. And within that week, that gentleman came in and was almost like a totally different person. Now he had a hat and he showed me, hey, pal, look, he had a hat and he had a pin on the hat, a Jesus pin. So he had, I guess, maybe found himself. And sometimes that's why we need that little touch. Somebody to nudge us and remind us, you know what? I think you're special. I think you're smart. I think you're brilliant. I think you're fantastic. I'm not sure if anyone has ever told you recently, but oh my God, I just think you're the bomb. And sometimes we may need to hear that, but in order for us to get it, we have to give it away. Sometimes it's when you give it away, it comes back to you. So today, I just want you to remember that story, that a touch can change someone's life. It can change a situation. Think about babies. When babies are born, especially when they're small and they're crying and fussy, and you can't calm them down, what's one of the best way to calm a crying baby? to pick them up and hold them against your heart. They feel your heart beating and they can connect there. And that's what our small gesture can do for someone. It can be just a reminder that they are not alone. And I'm hoping that for you today, this episode of Shift is to remind you. I know you've been hurt. I know people have said things about you. I know they talk about you. I know they try to, do you harm. But you are alive. You are here. And are you going to choose to die in that state of bitterness and anger instead of letting go? Instead of choosing to shift just a little bit? I don't know where that came from, but like I said earlier, I choose to be obedient. So the power of your touch, it can heal friendship. It can offer reassurance. It can be a sign of agreement. It can be a sign of acceptance. It can be a sign of love. It can offer hope and so much more. So I want you to see not just your hands, but to see who you are. When someone crosses your thoughts, say a prayer, send a text, make a phone call, Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever means you have to say, hey, are you okay? I'm just thinking about you. I want you to know I'm here for you. I'm your host, Palmonia. Thank you for joining us on The Shift. See you next time as we aim to move you one shift at a time, closer to who you are meant to be, this amazing individual that the entire world is waiting to see. Hurry up. I'm waiting for you too. I love you. Have a good day. And remember, you have the touch, the power to heal and to change. So keep shifting.